How do you, as an entrepreneur, deal with a situation where business is not doing well and you get home, you don't get a good kind of a reception because everybody can see what you're going through but may not reach out to you, and or some they feel like when they start, because some of us, especially men, when you try to talk to them, we want to bottle in. We don't want to talk about the deal that I missed. We don't want to talk about the day that was not good. And now sometimes it becomes difficult to kind of open up. How do we bring the balance? Do we have a family meeting like the president that that has a family meeting always? And do we call a family meeting and say, family, this is where we are? Or do we need to update, or do we just let things go?
This is a very sensitive one. And again, I actually recently read some articles about the pressure, the family pressure that entrepreneurs go through. And let me start by saying, in the first place, it is difficult being an entrepreneur because even stepping into the space means that a lot of other people in the world do not even understand your journey. So it's a lonely journey, first of all. It's a lonely journey, but then in addition, in those spaces where on a daily basis you go back to an environment where it may not be supportive, but the reason may be that we don't all understand this situation in the same way. And I can give you some examples, very common. Some of my other friends who are entrepreneurs, we laugh about it all the time. Because when you come home and you say, oh, it was heavy, I missed a deal. The next thing, someone will come to you with a job advert to say, I told you to go look for a job. This is very common. And I'm hearing you. It's very common. So that on its own says that even the closest people to you may not understand your journey. And it's important as an entrepreneur to get to the place where we manage our expectations of the people in our space.
Okay.
We set the right boundaries, and that is already a conversation on its own. We manage the expectations in that there are times when you will not even go to your closest people for certain kinds of advice, because you will have tested the waters and you will realize that they're in a different space. No one is right or wrong in this situation. No one is right or wrong.
So at times, what you're saying at times is that you just want to succeed to prove them wrong.
No. You succeed because that's your journey.
Okay.
Your journey is different to the next person. The next person may be close to you, but the fact that they don't understand your journey doesn't make them a bad person.
Okay.
It just means they don't understand.
They don't understand.
And I think that is an important conversation that in families, in our communities, we're not having. That is why when an entrepreneur starts a business and it's all exciting and they're successful, when they fail, and we do fail as entrepreneurs. You know, that's why there's such an expression as serial entrepreneur, because you will try this business, it may not work. You get up and do another one. But the conversation around you is that, oh, they failed, they've fallen. What we have not educated one another is what is an entrepreneur? An entrepreneur is a pioneer, is a dreamer, is somebody who starts new things. And a lot of the time, if you talk about any pioneer in any field, in any world, a pioneer will actually dig the hard ground. And others who come behind you will enjoy the fruits of your hard labor.
I like that one.
That's very true. So in that time when you are struggling, when it's really difficult, I usually say, remind yourself that they may not understand today, but I'm digging the hard ground where they may now plant their vegetables, where they may now create a road that was not here before.
Okay.
And you will then manage your expectations of the next person, however close they are to you. In fact, your closest people struggle. And this is another conversation. The reason they struggle is also because they have fears for you.
Oh,
they are afraid of seeing you fall.
Okay.
So when they speak as if they're discouraging you, sometimes it's not about that they really want to discourage you. They almost want to protect you in their own way.
Okay. It makes sense.
Yes, and it's a whole other conversation. There's actually a part of the brain that does that.
I think these shows we opened at a bang, with a bang, big bang, boom, We have landed. So yeah, we are looking forward to great shows ahead.
Yes.
But I just wanted to check something with you, especially the spiritual side of things.
Yes.
because we are spirit beings. We are a soul. How do we nourish that part? How do we deal with that part, the spirit part? Because when the spirit is down, nothing is going to go. So how do we have to read books, or do we have to pray, or do we have to meditate, or what would be the best way to fortify that personality, which is the spirit?
I love that part, because, as I say, remember, an entrepreneur is a creative being. Mm-hmm. And my belief and my understanding is that actually we are created in the image of God, who is a creator. Mm-hmm. So what strengthens me, and in this one I can only be personal. I would not like to prescribe.
Very true, because we don't want to get a lot of comments. Say, I've got my God,
yes.
and all.
Yes.
But let's go.
I would not prescribe, but let me share, perhaps.
Exactly.
So what strengthens me is the understanding that whatever is burning in me that I want to create, whatever this entrepreneurial journey is in me, comes from my spirit. Comes from the one who created me. In other words, he gave me a vision. He gave me a dream. He gave me something that he said, this may be your purpose to follow. And when that happens and it's difficult, it is easier to go back to whatever you pray to. I go back to God and I talk to him about it, because I'm saying, if this is what you gave me, let's work through this with you. So for me, it's easier to have those direct conversations with him about where I am.
Okay.
Because I believe that those come from him.
Yeah, actually, I'm a believer too.
Yes.
Because I've seen a lot of strength from prayer. I've seen a lot of strength from trusting God and believing in God.
Yes.
And yes, we do have different beliefs. We do have different people that believe that this can work for them. But as you say, what is very important is to understand that who is superior than I, who is above me, that I can run to for strength, that I can run to hide and all that. Palesa, you are an entrepreneur yourself, and you are in business yourself. Are you seeing enough support within your career in terms of wanting to assist entrepreneurs? Are you seeing opportunities open for you within your careers that would allow you to operate and be supported from, I want to say the government, but I believe that the corporate also have staff and employees that need emotional support.
Yes.
And I believe that in as much as we talk about advertising and promoting and everything, would these companies not say, university, give us a database of your graduates who qualified on this, want to know what they're doing, we want to call them, because I believe that we have put too much emphasis on advertising, advertise yourself, promote yourself. And I'm saying this because I want to make it clear that we are not trying to promote ourselves here. We want to get into the bottom of the challenges and address the problems.
Yes.
Do you see that kind of support as you do your work and as you go around?
I have to say, not as much as would be necessary. I feel like there's almost a ceiling created to say you go this far, and then there are certain barriers, and those barriers we can talk about another time. But I think it is those barriers that need to be addressed. Or I sometimes say this, when the path goes this way and there's a barrier, perhaps it's time to create a different path.
Oh, okay.
And my challenge to us is maybe to think of a different path to still achieve the impact and results, but not go to that particular direction that we were expecting, because remember, it's about expectations, and the whole world is looking different. So it's a great conversation to start, to say, now where can we go to see support so that we can have that impact that we would like to have. And yes, I think that's a great...
And what would be your closing remarks on this beautiful discussion that I felt we have 2 hours and we don't have? And I feel like, we can sit here the whole day. What would be your closing remarks with regard to the solutions for emotional needs of entrepreneurs?
I would say to us as entrepreneurs is the first thing is be open and honest with yourself first. Be realistic with yourself first. Don't put aside your dreams. Sometimes when we say realistic, we're saying, okay, maybe my dreams are not good enough. No, don't put aside your dreams. But remember, your dreams are built from what you have. You can only give what you've got.
Okay.
What you do not have, you need to build.
Okay.
So whether it is building emotional resilience, emotional support, whatever it is that you do not have, build so that you can give from that space. Let's not keep trying to give from an empty place. A lot of the time, we even normalize, I work so hard, I was exhausted. That is not normal. That is not normal. When you say, I was exhausted, I've been exhausted for months, that is not normal.
Okay.
So I'm saying, let's shift our focus to say, if I need to fill my cup to build my emotional resilience, let me do that. But let me not worry about how I look to other people. Because a lot of the time, what makes me, I work so hard, is because I'm impressing somebody else.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
And that's a bigger conversation for another day. But can we take care of ourselves first?
Wow, that's great. Thank you very much for coming.
It's my pleasure.
And we are looking forward to hosting you in future.
Thank you
so much. Yes, this was a great conversation that we had in our opening show. And that is Nzavi Derek, your host. Thank you very much for watching.